horseshoe is back.
Hey, BTJ Nation. So, if you're already seeing the title of this video, you already know what's about to be in store here. And believe me, I'm not having a good time having to record this either. But I think it's important that we discuss just how bad this situation is looking right now. So, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so Carson Wentz, new quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts, obviously has not had the kind of welcoming to the Indianapolis Colts the way he wished. Okay, and before we get into that specific topic here, let's have a quick word about our sponsor.
What's up, football fans? Do you want an advantage on your sports betting this year? You need to download BetQL, the only app you'll need to make smart bets. Their computer model scans hundreds of thousands of bets every year to give you the best bet recommendation for every game across all major sports. Their model covers everything from spreads, over-unders, to player prop bets. If you don't want to use their model and use your own research, that's fine. They can help you with your researching needs. There's sharp data to know who the pros are backing, the line movement so you can jump on betting opportunities in real time, team summaries highlighting previous success and over-unders and spreads, and team lineup, breaking news, and injury status updates. Plus, you can save all your picks in one place to track your success on leaderboards and rankings. Head to the App Store or Google Play now to download BetQL. You can also head to try.betql.co/juice to get started. Enter the discount code JUICE for a 25% off any of their subscription offerings. Find all this information here in the description, and make sure to check out their BetMGM in the description to receive a free year of BetQL. No subscription status is nothing. Also, check out their sportsbook offer pages if you live in an eligible state for free offers upon signing up. Don't miss out on the chance to beat your sportsbooks this football season.
So the Indianapolis Colts, 0-2 to start out the 2021 season. Not a great ideal start. And believe it or not, it's not going to get much easier for the Colts going forward for the next few weeks. You have to go to Tennessee, to Miami, and to Baltimore, which, by the way, all these teams have a win. And on top of it, all of these teams have a win over a good team. Tennessee just beat the Seahawks, who we didn't beat. Miami won earlier in week 1. And then you have Baltimore, who just beat the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. I mean, it's not going to get easy from here, and it's only going to get worse. And right now, it's looking more and more like a catastrophe could happen if things don't start turning around. Now, granted, I'm trying to look optimistic here. I know it's 0-2, and I know we've been really, really bad. And I'm going to have another video that comes up that will explain what we've learned through the first 2 weeks. But, I mean, you know I've seen this team come back from worse. Okay, I've seen this team come back from a bunch of different scenarios, and I still believe that we will have a chance to win because I still believe that this team has more in them than what they have shown. Okay, but from the first couple weeks that we've seen here, the Colts have not really given Carson Wentz the benefit of the doubt. Carson Wentz, first 2 weeks as the Indianapolis quarterback, a lot of question marks. What Carson Wentz are we actually going to get? The media has been saying the whole time. Are we going to get the 2020 Carson Wentz? Are we going to get the 2019 and before Carson Wentz? What Carson Wentz are we going to get? Well, I can tell you through the first 2 games that this looks like the 2019-2018 Carson Wentz all over again. So far in 2 games, Carson Wentz has thrown for 500 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Has a completion percentage of over 65% and has a QB rating of a 95. On top of it, has, I think, at least 60 rushing yards on like 7 carries as well. On times he's had to run. So Carson Wentz, through the majority of these first 2 weeks, has looked pretty good. Okay, he's not been mind-blowing. He's not been the giant spark that set this offense ablaze. He's not. But given everything that he's had to deal with, Carson Wentz has been a good quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts so far. Now, already 2 weeks into the season, and Carson Wentz is already having issues with his ankles now due to the fact that he was under duress several times. So let's get into the bread and butter of this video, which is why are the Colts failing Carson Wentz right now? Well, first off, you have to look at the offensive line, right? Carson Wentz came in to Indianapolis thinking he was going to be much more protected than he was in Philadelphia in 2020. Indianapolis Colts are always known for their offensive line over the last 3 years. Ever since they drafted Quentin Nelson, ever since they drafted Braden Smith, that is what they've been known for. And so far, I think we all can agree that this offensive line for the Colts looks like the most sorry group of offensive line that we have seen since 2017 for the Indianapolis Colts, back when Andrew Luck was still the guy. And now, granted, I know the injuries have been a problem for the Indianapolis Colts. Their left tackle wasn't there for week 1. And he was on a somewhat of a pitch count week 2, but still played for a good 70+% of the snaps. And Quentin Nelson's had some back flare-ups. Ryan Kelly's had something with his elbow that he's been having issues with. Mark Lewinsky hasn't really been doing much. And obviously Braden Smith is now hurt as well. So everyone on the Colts offensive line has had struggles. Some of it because of injuries, some of it because they're just not doing well right now. Quentin Nelson summarized it very well after the game against the Rams, stating their performance so far through the first 2 weeks has been unacceptable. They are going to get it fixed. Well, they're going to need to get it fixed because Carson Wentz has already been sacked 6 times, and has already been hit almost 30 times. In his first 2 games, Carson Wentz is on pace to be hit 177 times this season if the Colts offensive line stays the way it is. Now, mind you, Andrew Luck got hit 122 times. That's the most he ever had in a single season in his career. Wentz would get hit 50 more times at this rate. Now, I'm not saying that the offensive line is going to stay that way. I am supremely confident that when Eric Fisher gets back here at full strength, Quentin Nelson gets better, Kelly starts to get a little better, and Braden Smith comes back, I think this offensive line will continue to get better throughout the year. They have had that same thing happen last year. They got better midway through the season, and it turned out really well. But on top of that, you then start talking about the fact that Julian Davenport and Matt Pryor, your tackles, the people who you said are going to be the backups, are just getting absolutely destroyed on the edges. Davenport has allowed over 15 pressures on Carson Wentz in the first 2 weeks alone. He gave up 8 in the first week against the Seattle Seahawks, gave up 7 last time against the LA Rams. He's given up, I think, 2 or 3 of those sacks have come off Davenport alone. I mean, over almost half the stuff that's going on is because of Davenport. And Pryor got burned in the game too against the Rams. Braden Smith didn't have a great game week 1, probably due to the fact that he was injured. But this offensive line has just been atrocious. Now, granted, there might be 1 or 2 sacks in there or a couple of hits that Carson might have had on himself, maybe. But I think all Colts fans and Colts people will agree that this has been the majority of the offensive line's problem. And why is Carson Wentz injured right now? I don't care whether or not you think he's injury prone. It is the offensive line's fault for allowing these teams to continue to keep forcing Carson Wentz out of the pocket because they can't get rid of the football in time. A lot of times he doesn't even have 3 seconds before he just goes straight into panic mode because he doesn't know when he's going to get hit next. And then you go into it. So why is that? Why is it that the Colts aren't getting rid of the ball a lot quicker? Well, good question. I think that's a question that we should ask Frank Reich. That's a great question, Coach Reich. Where's the help? What are we doing to combat the fact that our offensive line cannot execute? What are we doing to defend it? We know that the tackles have been getting swarmed. We know that Mark Glowinski has been having issues whenever an Aaron Donald or someone else is lined up on him. Why are we not bringing in more tight end help? Why are we not bringing in an extra back? Why are we not moving the ball quicker and trying to get it out of Wentz's hands faster and giving it to Taylor and Hines? Because Hines and Taylor didn't catch the ball much in week 2, which is surprising because, again, Carson did a great job of getting the ball to the wide receivers in week 2. He did a really great job of that, especially going down the field. But the Colts seem to abandon the short game a lot in a couple different ways. Like just not as much. And we weren't getting it into a lot of the playmakers' hands in that way. And the Rams were just consistently getting pressure and dialing up blitzes, and Wentz was running for his life on every other play. And then on top of it, we've talked about the red zone trips and why the Colts haven't been able to execute in that. Do you guys know the Colts have failed to score points in the red zone already more times than what they've scored touchdowns already this season? They have turned the ball over on downs. Let me make sure I'm telling you this right. They've turned the ball over on downs inside the 20-yard line as many times as they have scored a touchdown so far this season. Think of how many points that is left on the board, guys. And they've barely scored as many times in the red zone as they have turned it over on downs. I mean, I think they've scored 4 times in the red zone so far this season, if I'm not mistaken, and they've turned the ball over on downs 3 times inside the 20. I mean, I'm telling you guys, and again, a lot of it has to do with the play calling. A lot of it has to do with play calling. A lot of it has to do with execution. Is Carson Wentz fully to blame for that? No. Is he partially to blame for it? Yeah. Just depends on how much partially you want to give, right? Who deserves the most of the blame for that? Well, I can tell you who deserves 80% of the blame for it. It's the offensive line, and it's Frank Reich. Against the Rams, you ran the ball 3 times in a row to try and get in on the inside the 5-yard line. The Colts ran the ball at the 4-yard line, got 3 yards. Got stuffed in 2nd and goal at the 1. And then on 3rd and goal, decided to run it again and stopped short. So 3 runs, 3 halfback dives, and we didn't get it. And then on a 4th down and goal, you decide to have a play action with Carson Wentz, and there was immediately a guy in his face because they weren't falling for it at all, and Wentz ends up getting sacked. And then you have the same issue the next time around. Couldn't score in the end zone, in the red zone, the next time around. Guys, this is what's costing us games. This is what's costing us points. I mean, is it crazy to believe that Carson Wentz has been the best player for the Colts in the first 2 weeks of the season? And now he might be injured and might possibly miss a couple weeks. Maybe. It is not looking good for the Indianapolis Colts, who are already struggling with a healthy Carson Wentz. And now you don't have a Carson Wentz? I don't know what's going to happen here, guys. I mean, have you noticed the recurring trend that we've seen in the upcoming games? I'm going to actually break it more down in the next video. So all I'm saying is we're seeing a trend here. We're seeing a trend early in seasons. And it's not a good trend. I'll let you decide what that trend is. I know what it is. I'll let you guys figure it out for yourselves. But right now, the play calling, the lack of execution from the offensive line. And also, I'll give the defense a little bit of flack here too. I mean, you gave up a touchdown on the opening drive of the opposing teams each week we've started this season. The Colts have scored 3 points in the first 2 games of the season on the opening drive. Colts have had the ball both times. Went all the way down the field both times into the red zone. 3 points. 3 points. And the Colts went down the field both times into the red zone inside the 5-yard line. Couldn't do it. And had to kick a field goal in the first game. And the defense gives up a touchdown on the first drive to Seattle. And then the next time, they give up a touchdown to Cooper Kupp and the Rams within 3 minutes. The Colts have constantly been behind all season long through the first 2 games. They've been behind the whole time. So we're going to have to figure this out, guys, because the lack of execution from both sides of the ball right now is very concerning. The lack of effective play calling and decision making and going for it on downs by the coaching staff has been flawed. The scheming on both sides of the ball at times has been flawed. And, I mean, I'm not saying Carson Wentz is without flaw. He's definitely had he's had like 2 mistakes, 1 or 2 mistakes in the first 2 games of the season. But given what some of you thought Carson Wentz was going to do, I would say that he has been the best player the Colts have had in the first couple games of the season. And now he might be injured because of everyone else. So this is going to be interesting, guys. Not sure exactly where we're going to go from here. I mean, the Colts are going to have to go to Tennessee, and I don't know if Wentz is going to play or not. I certainly hope he plays, because if he doesn't, I don't have much faith in what this Colts team's able to do right now against Tennessee. I don't have much faith in it right now. I mean, even though Tennessee's defense has looked bad, I mean, so is ours. So, I mean, it's going to be a long season. Not sure what is going to happen here, but I'm glad Carson Wentz has, been doing what he's been doing. It's given me a lot of faith. I certainly hope this Colts team can corral around him and actually start putting things together in motion to allow this man to continue to keep performing the way he has. Thank you guys so much again for the support. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. And as always, go Colts.
Once again, thank you to our sponsor, BetQL, the only app you will need to beat your sportsbooks. Find their information along with a 25% off discount code in the description of this video. Make sure you go check that out. And also check out their special BetMGM offer in the description in order to receive a free year of BetQL and other sportsbook sign-up offers and bonuses.